Hello everyone, my name is Roberto Eduardo Farquet. I'm an actor, film producer, and film montagist, and the CEO of my very own publishing company, Luminosa Publishing, and my film studio, art house film studio, Pertupere Cinema, which streams on luminosacanal.com. And I was just interviewed by a hell of a guy and a heck of an interviewer, Keith Andrew, for the Keith Andrew Network. You can't miss that. So I hope to see you there, hope to catch you over there. It's been a great interview and it's been a great time. See you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network for this episode 1027. That is right, 1027. And you can see the entire library of the Keith Andrew Network available on Facebook, YouTube, and all social medias. If you're watching, definitely leave a comment. I would love to interact with you and hear your feedback on who I should interview and what should be next for the Keith Andrew Network. As you heard from the recommendation, we have a great guest here. But giving everyone a quick highlight, you are a film producer, an actor. You're also a book publisher and a CEO of your very own company.
Yeah, that's right.
So the first question I want to ask you is, let's get the big elephant out of the room. You are your own CEO. Who inspired you to start your own company?
Oh, well, there's a lot of people that have inspired me over the years. I think that the main reason why I, jumped into this was because of my wife. She wasn't my wife back when I started acting. She was the director that actually had me star in my first role in a short film called Misplace a Rabbit. And after that, even though I really like acting, I started to pursue a career in filmmaking, and I didn't just want to learn how to shoot movies and make films and all of that, but I also wanted to have a way to actually put the things that I was doing and that other filmmakers were doing, out in the spot. I didn't want my stuff. I didn't want the things that I was working, on, to be just left in the dark. So I figured, hey, you know what? It's always going to be hard to find places to showcase your stuff. It's always going to be hard to find places to, for your stuff to stream on. So I thought, hey, what the heck? I'm just gonna go and fund my own company, right? My own film studio, and that led to, well, of course, first I funded the Luminosa Publishing, which is our publishing company. And then I went on to the filmmaking studio thing. And then one thing led to another, and we had the opportunity to build this, our streaming site, our website that is called luminosacanal.com. So yeah, I mean, we're growing from there, but always with that in mind, to let people know, let independent filmmakers and artists know that if you want to do something, you can just go ahead and do so. I mean, you don't have to wait for someone to give you an opportunity to hear about you and put you on the spot. I mean, of course, with the exception of the Keith Andrew Network, right? But we wanted to let people know that they could be their own bosses, they could be their own agents, they could be their own publishers, and that they just needed to start.
No, you're absolutely right. You shouldn't wait around. Well, let someone tell you what to do or wait for permission. If you're very passionate about doing anything, you should, like I said, get off your ass and do it. Sometimes
Go ahead and do it.
You are your own worst enemy and you are your own worst critic. I know I deal with on an everyday basis. I learned at a fifth grade to high school level, I fall under the spectrum of being retarded. I used to walk around with my hands out saying, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. People will feel sorry for me. Things will be handed to me. And I call it the boomerang. You throw the
Yeah.
boomerang. You say, I don't have to do this test. Ain't I so lucky? And I don't have to do that. I don't have to take responsibility because people feel sorry for you because you have a disability. But the boomerang comes back and it whacks you upside the head, saying you just
Yeah.
labeled yourself as an influent, saying, yes, it's which one is it? You want to use your disability as a strength, or you want people to think it's a weakness? So I am guilty of it. I took advantage of my disability, but then I'm like, I want to become famous. I want to be an actor, and that's my next question: who influenced you to become an actor? But sometimes you have to get out of your own way. It's like you want to become famous and all this. How can I do that? And everyone has a gimmick. You're either a professional wrestler, you're either, like you said, your own boss. I don't like people giving me orders. My sister thinks I'm a dictator because I like
Yeah.
telling people what to do. Well, we're a
Kind of, I
Napoleon
mean,
complex, but I'm not a dictator. I like to work at my own pace. I would like, there's just things you want to feel comfortable doing what you love doing.
yeah.
I can write you a book about how many times I set myself up for failure. But those are two questions I want to
No.
ask you. Have you ever set yourself up for failure and what did you learn from it?
Well, yeah, I mean, totally, absolutely. I think I could write volume two on that series. Um, yes, there have been plenty of times in, where I've set myself to fail, or where I've set my mind on a failing path. No, it's hard. It's, just like you said, living in an environment where people are demanding something from you, and then you just said it yourself. You, for example, living with a disability, you had to learn to live in an environment where people demanded something from you or expected something from you. And myself, for example, I wasn't always an artist. I wanted to be an artist, but I never actually told anyone about that. So I pursued, less soul gratifying enterprises. And I knew, in the bottom of my heart and of my mind that I wanted to do something else. But my environment, the people around me, I thought, because maybe they didn't, but I thought that they expected, that they demanded something from me, family, friends, those things. So to answer your question, whenever I tried to divert from said thing that they expected of me, said, I don't know, regular income, regular normal job, 9 to 5, job, those kind of things. Whenever I diverted from that, I thought that I was failing people, and then I thought that I was failing myself when I really didn't want to do, the things that I thought people wanted me to do. At the end of the day, when I really started to do art, I realized, a little bit, I felt a little bit foolish, but I realized that people never actually expected that from, other things from me. They just expect me to be happy. But of course, they weren't going to put the plate right in front of me so I could, be an artist, and that was it. I mean, people will support you, but if you don't support yourself, people are never going to know what you want to do, and they're never going to be able to help you achieve your dream if they don't even know what that is, because you don't even know what the heck that is, right? So I mean, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I put myself in the path of failure many times, but it was, my own fault. And ever since I started to do art, you know I haven't felt myself, in that path anymore. I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't failed, but my mindset is just not that anymore. I think that that's a little bit of that's a bit of something good when compared to other artists or filmmakers out there. I don't know, because since I wasn't that before, and I set myself to failure before I was an artist, now that I am, I just don't. I just don't have the time to do so, or I just don't have the mindset to do so. So I just go with it and go with it and go with it and fake it till I make it, like they say. But yeah, I mean, I think that was something good that happened to me. That bad thing that happened to me, before I was actually starting to do something. You know.
I agree. And the reason for the glasses is because I'm staring directly at you. But if I sit like this, my eyes is it's gonna make me look cross-eyed. So I'm like, oh, if I hide my eyes, then people don't think like, what the hell is wrong with his eyes? So that's why I have these. But I was thinking, and are you a professional wrestling fan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch most of the American stuff, but I do know some of the players, some of the wrestlers, and the divas and the superstars. But I've watched more, of our stuff, like the AAA stuff like that, But yeah, yeah, totally. I see that you've, done some interviews to people from the wrestling world. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that. I interviewed a lot of people from the WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW, and it's one of my passions. Being a kid at 5 years old, that's what I wanted to do, and I'm kind of living the dream. Every time I do an interview, it's an audition. But the reason I mentioned the sunglasses is, have you ever seen Impact Wrestling or TNA Wrestling?
Yeah.
There's a wrestler, James Storm. I had Chris Ayers on the show. So I'm like, oh, can you put a good word in for James Storm? And he's like, okay, maybe. Now holding my breath. But that was a while ago. But James Storm says there's two types of people. Obviously, I'm wearing glasses, so I'm throwing myself underneath the bus. He said there's two types of people that wear sunglasses indoors: blind people and jack offs. Apparently, you're not blind, so I guess you're a jack off. But I think it looks nice. So
It does look nice. I mean, in at the very beginning, when I looked at you for the first time, maybe it was because I saw a little thumbnail, and I did a little sketch of you. I thought, I mean, I didn't think they were, like fake, After Effects glasses on you. I thought they were real. I think it's a good look on you, really.
I appreciate that. Actually, I'm looking in the drawer right now. I actually have an actual pair of sunglasses that I usually
Like a
wear,
real
but
one.
the problem is then I can't read what's on the card. So by doing the filter, it hides my eyes. I'm like, okay, I look professional, I look cool, kind of like a badass, but I can
Yeah.
still read what's in front of me. Otherwise, it's kind of like, yeah, I look cool, but I can't read a damn thing in front of my face.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I think I can relate a little bit. When I was a kid, when I was, a teenager, or maybe even a little bit older, I had, several tics, these nervous tics. So I used to do this with my eyes a lot, like a lot. I felt like there was something in my cornea or something like behind my eyes, and I had to like subdue it by forcing my eyelids, by forcing my eyelids shut. And I did this all the time, and people were always, not everyone was like making, jokes about it, but some people were like wondering what's going on. Have you slept well? Or, for example, is there something in your eye? things like that. So at a very, in my adolescence, I started to wear sunglasses. So I will be able to do this, at my own leisure without, bothering anyone, or without having anyone bother me. So yeah, I mean, that's a good look. It's a good look in all of us, and it actually, I think it actually helped me to stop. You know, I think it was something to do with my ADD, or with with the attention deficit disorder, or something like that, that I used to have, or that I continue to have. I don't know. I haven't checked, but yeah, I mean, those tics were, oh man. And then after I started to wear the sunglasses, those tics started to go somewhere else. They started to go to my shoulder, like that. So I thought, I'm just gonna take the sunglasses off, because now I'm gonna be wearing sunglasses, and people are gonna think that I'm imitating Michael Jackson or something. So, and at the very, very, very end, it eventually stopped. But yeah, those sunglasses look good on you. But
No, I appreciate
just now, when you moved your head, you did this, you moved your head down, and the glasses started to jump like this.
it.
That was that was that was interesting. I mean, if those were real and you do that at a party, that'll be crazy. That'll be like, wow, that's the
Plus,
sound
I'm
of a magician.
plus I'm wearing normal glasses, so if you look at me, it looks like I'm gonna have double limbs. So
Yes, I think I can notice them behind. Yes, right? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It has tag, absolutely. But the same thing, it's we mentioned your nervous tics. Like, well, first off, you don't do this. If you do, make sure you're not in it like in a breakable store. Make
Yeah.
sure there are no glass, because you will never go into a glass store ever again. Wow, this is really nice. Whoops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, totally. Like that judge from Ally McBeal, right? That used to do something like this.
Or like
That would have been funnier.
no,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But on the
No,
key
no, it's
fan
okay. I mean, it would have been fun.
But on the
No, go
key
ahead. Go ahead.
on the Key Fancy Network, we like to have fun. And then a people are like, and I get this from normal people, but I actually one of my favorite wrestlers, Amy DeMont. I'm like, hey, I have a talk show that's about how I have disabilities. I would love to have you on there. And it's one of those things where you hit yourself in the head. It's kind of like people would be like, I thought you said your show's about disabilities, and you only have disabled people on the show. Yes, I do, but it's
Okay.
kind of like I want to bring that. You're stereotyping. Well, he's disabled, but he has to have disabled people on the show. Why can't I have
Yeah.
people on the show who I like? So I
Yeah.
heard it for past 10 and a half years, and when she did it, I want, and it's kind of like, really, of all people. But let me ask you, were your family and fans supportive when you started your venture on creating your own? You because you are an actor, you are a book author, right?
Yeah.
Were they supportive for you when you wrote your own book, when you decided to be an actor?
Oh well. I'm sorry. About the books, just to clarify, I'm not. I haven't published anything that I've written. I am, the editor and the publisher of three novels that have been published under Luminosa Publishing. Those three novels have been written by my wife. She's a writer, Laura Maria Isabel Ruiz Ocadiz. She sometimes goes by the name of Maria Ruiz Ocadiz, but we usually use her, long name, because of we don't want to go into copyright messes
Yeah.
and stuff. So we go with the long name, right? So she has published. I mean, I have published three of her novels, and I'm preparing. I am preparing my own book, but she writes literary fiction, like high end novels, not best selling novels. I mean, she diverts from anything that has to do with that specific genre. She writes this literary fiction novels, right? And my take on writing is much different. I write for young adults, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of horror, but I haven't actually released anything. I mean, I'm working with the movie right now, with the upcoming film that we're working on, and I'm still actually expecting her fourth book, which is going to be released this year. So we're going to be publishing that, and we're going to be publishing those three books in English as well. So no, I'm not. I'm not a published author yet at all. She is, and I think that my family and friends were not very much aware of the fact that I was building a publishing company. Maybe because I like to keep things on a little bit on the side of secrecy, because there have been some instances in which we we've encountered you know enemies that have been born from friends. I don't
Yeah.
want to say it like that. It's not that I like to have enemies per se, but yeah, I mean, sometimes people just change. They can just give you another face, right away. And so yeah, I mean, I really didn't share that with most people. But on the filmmaking side, yeah, um, I can say that definitely our friends were very supportive of it. Actually, I have one of my friends, one of my very dearest friends in the movie that we're shooting right now. We're already in the post production stage. This is gonna be our first feature film. It's called A Wakefulness of Indocility. It's gonna be released this fall. And yeah, one of my best, if not my bestest friend, is in this movie with us. He's not a professional actor, or at least he wasn't an actor before this, and he really liked it. But he is so talented. I mean, it's just one of those people that you keep telling you should be in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So I put him in front of a camera, and he did his magic, and I'm very happy because I was able to bring my friend into this ship. And other people that were very supportive, my in-laws, both my mother and my father-in-law were but both my father and my mother-in-law were very, very supportive of our enterprise. Both financially and otherwise. Eventually, my mother, jumped on board as well. She wasn't aware of everything we've done, when we started to do so, because again, I was, being a little bit secretive about stuff, But whenever she realized it, she just, jumped on the ship as well. But to be completely honest with you, Keith, there's not a lot of people, there's not much. I mean, that's pretty much it. Whenever you get to see, I mean, if you ever get to watch the movie, which I hope so, you will see, or you will watch the end credits, and you will, maybe you will be surprised at just how few people are actually involved in this. I think that the credits are gonna last like 10 seconds or something like that. I mean, and it's a
Yeah,
feature film. So yeah.
absolutely. It's gonna kick us off there, but I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the last one is actually we can talk about that off the air. But if you're watching this, I don't pay for Zoom, so we get 40 minutes free. But then you have to send a
Yeah,
new
you
link
too.
and all that. But if it kicks us off, I do want to talk to you off the air. For people who are watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, leave a comment, leave suggestions for who should be on the show. For us to do a part two, our goal is to reach 100 and more views. With that being said, but I do want to say one thing that you said about friends turning enemies. A wise man once said, if you're not making enemies, you're not being that busted word.
Yeah,
If you're not making enemies, you're not being successful in this business.
yeah, totally agree.
And as that wise man was, Triple H. If I find that video, I send it to you. But wrapping up our interview, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking
Thank you
forward
very
to
much.
part two down the road. It was a real honor and privilege. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Keith. It's been great. It's been really awesome to meet all of you guys, to meet you, Keith, and I think you have one hell of a show. And thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity to let people know what we're up to and what we're all about. That was great. Thank you so much.